Hello and welcome to another Star Wars review, and today I'm going to be reviewing last night's dual episode of Star Wars Rebels Season 4. The first part was called The Occupation, the second part was Flight of the Defender, but they're essentially part 1 and part 2. They both have very much to do with each other, so whatever. But before I get into the review, I have to say a spoiler alert. I'm not going to try to spoil everything, but there will definitely be some spoilers in there, so consider yourselves warned on all things spoilers for last night's episode of Rebels. And we also have a new Facebook page. It's facebook.com/ccinemareviews. So follow the channel there. We're also on Twitter at ccinemareviews. So tell me your thoughts on Twitter too. And last thing is, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you enjoy this and want to see more reviews like this every week of Star Wars Rebels until it's over, I guess. With that being said, let's get into the review. So, last night's duel episode, The Occupation and Flight of the Defender. Is it good? And more importantly, did I like it? And it's a yes on both counts. It seems like our, little band of rebels, they seem to be a part of the big rebellion, the rebellion that we know from the movies, and that's pretty cool. But then again, that kind of, it definitely solidifies the fact that Kanan and Ezra are either going to die or leave somehow, because can't have Jedi in the rebellion, or else Luke would go with them and do some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Ezra is in the beginning of this episode, he's still kind of mad that the rebellion is not helping out Lothal, but they quiet him down because they get a transmission from Ryder, who is the rebel that's on Lothal, the rebel leader that's on Lothal, and he tells them that, hey, they're improving the TIE Defender, and then they're like, okay, we gotta go figure out what they're doing with the TIE Defender. So we'll send Ezra and his rebel crew, or the crew that goes with him. Mon Mothma is pretty cool because she's like, yeah, you know what? You guys actually work well together, better, like way better than you would split up. So let's just send all of you, and it's a nice way to show us that Mon Mothma is definitely smart and definitely knows what she's doing with this rebellion. So they go to Lothal with the help of Vizago, who is a smuggler friend of Lando Calrissian. It kind of stinks that they couldn't get Lando, but hey, I guess you gotta have another guy. And we got some puffer pigs, which, eh, okay. We do get a little bit of Calais and Rex right before our main crew leave. We get and even though it's a small, like it's a very small amount, it's like one scene with Callus and Rex. Callus is honestly quickly becoming a favorite character of mine. I feel like I don't want him to die, but I feel like he's a really cool character because of the fact that he was an Imperial. And he wasn't just like a stormtrooper like Finn. He was a high ranking officer, and now he's with the rebellion. And so that brings with it some baggage. And I think that this character, I would like to see more of this character in the future. Hopefully that's what we get. When Ezra sees what the Empire is doing to Lothal, like he says he's staying for good, like quote unquote for good. That's his exact line. And I was like, yeah, you're not staying for good. You're gonna have to get off of this place because you're either gonna die there or you have to get off of this place, because I don't know if they're going to do it, but it feels like Lothal is coming back, and it feels like they're using Lothal as a crutch to me, where it's like you have a bunch of other places in the galaxy, yet you keep coming back to Lothal. You do realize that Hera has a home planet, that Kanan has a home planet. It's like Ezra's just getting his way because he's like the teenager or whatever, and it just, I don't know. It seems like they're using Lothal as a crutch more than a location, because they go there all the time. Like they went there last season with their season finale. They're going back. Like Ezra, I hope Ezra dies. Like, and that's not a bad thing because he literally can't be around. Um, So yeah, it seems like he's staying for good. And I mean, like, let me tell you guys, the Empire's messing up Lothal. Like, don't don't just. It's not. Ezra's not saying this just because there's a bunch of Imperial ships around Lothal. Like, they are messing up Lothal. It does not look good. Where we finally, once they get down to Lothal, we finally get some romance between Kanan and Hera, and that was cool. That was cool to me. I was like, okay. I mean, I had read A New Dawn, the prequel book where Kanan and Hera meet up, and it's totally, there's definitely some romantic implications there, and so it's like, yeah, it's finally nice to see this happen in a kids show. Like, great. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Also, last thing is, Star Wars has got to be consistent, you guys. Star Wars has got to be consistent with the way that they have the Jedi do things. There's some scenes where the Jedi, Kanan and Ezra, they are down in the sewers fighting off stormtroopers, and they're not winning. There's like 6 stormtroopers, okay? 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, and they can't beat them. It's like they faced AT-ATs and taken them down. They've gone in and faced Star Destroyers and taken down Star Destroyers. Like, I feel like 6 stormtroopers. So okay? You trying to cut back on your budget, Star Wars? You're Star Wars. Why do you don't can't afford a few more stormtroopers for them to cut down? Anyway, I just wish they would be consistent. Second episode, we find out that the Empire is upgrading the TIE Defender. Now, last season we saw that the TIE Defender is no joke. It's pretty much a TIE fighter, but now it has shields, which is not what any other TIE fighter had, which is why they get taken out so easily in the original trilogy. So this one has shields, and they're even upgrading it now to have a hyperdrive, so, and better engines. So Ezra and Sabine so very smartly decide to steal the Nava computer, which will give them the information they need to will give the rebels the information they need to upgrade their own ships, just like the Empire is doing. And in the process of that, of course, hijinks happens, and they end up taking the entire ship. I mean, just flying off with it. And you guys, again, Star Wars, be consistent. I have read the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which is Thrawn's main Legends thing. Okay? I have read the Thrawn canon book, which is, actually part of the new Star Wars story, or the overall, the real Star Wars story. He would never pull out his pistol and shoot his pistol at a ship that had shields. He would never do that. Why? Because this dude is the smartest man, the smartest being we know in this galaxy, okay? He's the smartest being. He knows, we know, and we're not, and I'm not that smart. I know that a pistol's not going to take down the TIE Defender. So how much more should Thrawn know that? There's no reason for him to take out his pistol and shoot at the TIE Defender. It won't work. After that, though, he does get into his Thrawn stuff where he wants to learn more information about who is in the ship, and that's really cool. I like how he sends the TIE Defenders out, and since Ezra and Sabine, they're in the TIE, he sends other TIE fighters out, or TIE interceptors out, and so Ezra and Sabine in the TIE Defender take out the other TIE fighters, disable the homing beacon, and so through that information he finds out that, okay, so now our ship is really good because Ezra doesn't have that much fighting experience, and also he found out that Sabine Wren, the Mandalorian, was in there because she is a mechanic and she knows how to fix ships, and more importantly, how to take out or how to stop the homing beacon. So it was a really cool way to see Thrawn do his, normal Thrawn stuff. So they kill switch it, which is Governor Price. They have a kill switch where it pretty much shuts down the ship, which is pretty cool. And Ezra and Sabine, they crash. and then they decide to take the navicomputer and also take the hyperdrive, which I guess Ryder, the rebel leader who is on Lothal, he has a U-wing and it doesn't have a hyperdrive for some reason. So they take the hyperdrive from the TIE Defender to go put it there. They get saved by a wolf, you guys, because this is weird. So they're carrying the hyperdrive. They hide it in some little cave somewhere, okay? And then they get saved by a wolf, which is weird because you have a whole bunch of imperial ships looking for them during the night with, like, they're pretty much imperial helicopters with searchlights and everything out on Lothal. And so they get saved by a wolf, which is weird because this wolf has got to have some connection with the Force, because Kanan, or not Kanan, but Ezra is like, oh, he sees the wolf right behind Sabine, and he's like, Sabine, watch out, there's a wolf behind you. She turns around, the wolf blows in her face, just like, and then she gets knocked out. So there has to be some Force stuff going on there. The wolf lets Ezra climb on him along with Sabine. Carry Sabine onto the wolf. The wolf takes them all the way to the rebels, which, how did it know? The Force, and then it let them off and ran away, which is crazy because nobody else sees the wolf. And the wolf talks, you guys. The wolf, I hope it's not Ahsoka. I don't even want it to be connected to Ahsoka, because wolves, I don't care. It's Star Wars, Jared. Anything can happen. It's a big galaxy. Wolves do not talk, okay? If it could talk, it would have told Ezra when they first met, hey, get on my back. Instead, it just laid down and let Ezra get on its back. No. So there you go. If it could talk, it would have talked earlier, and it tells Ezra doom. I thought at first it said go because the voice is really weird. I had to go back and watch it, but it said doom, and I was like, okay, so are you telling me that Ezra is doomed? What's going on here? I really don't like that the wolf talked, you guys. I was like, when I saw the wolf at the very end, and he dropped off Ezra and Sabine, and he stayed around, like he just stood there. I was like, please don't talk, and it talked, and I was like, ugh. So overall, I do think that this is another great week for Star Wars Rebels. I think that we got some really cool stuff with Ezra in particular, because in my opinion, I thought, and I really wanted, if Ezra was going to go down the path to the dark side, I wanted it to be as a result of his interactions with Darth Maul, or Maul. I really wanted that, but now that that's not happening, I do understand, and I can get behind him potentially going down the path to the dark side because of Saw, and because of the way Saw is in his absolute ruthlessness, and because if Saw Gerrera was Force sensitive, I do personally believe that he would go down the path to the dark side, because he is a character who is willing to do anything possible to win, and that's something that, honestly, that's just sounds like a dark side user. So I do like the idea, maybe, that Ezra could go down the path to the dark side, and it won't be as a result of another Force user teaching him. It will be as a result of him looking at Saw Gerrera and saying, that dude is doing something right, so I should be willing to do whatever it takes, just like him, to get the victory. I think that would be a very interesting way to go with the character. Also, I don't think he's going to die on Lothal. If he does die, I don't think he would on Lothal. It seems like they're using Lothal a lot, and maybe, hopefully, since they got the hyperdrive from the TIE Defender, that Ryder and the Rebels can get off of Lothal using that with their U-wing. So I hope that they get off of Lothal, because we've been on Lothal a lot in this series, so I hope that's not what happens. This it does have some inconsistencies, like you know, your puffer pigs, which I hate. I mean, I really don't like puffer pigs. I think they're just for the children. It's like, you know what? You can come up with something better, Dave Filoni. Come on. You have the inconsistencies with Thrawn as shooting at a TIE defender, which he would never do. Like, really, he would never do. You have the inconsistencies with six stormtroopers being able to very very much so fight off and fight against two Jedi, which is like, you know what, and it's not like we've seen these. It's not like these Jedi haven't done this before. We've seen Ezra take out AT-8 or ATSTs. We've seen these two Jedi in particular go ham, absolutely go ham on some stormtroopers, and now they're being pushed back by six. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. It's very inconsistent in those terms. And this could have some big implications for the galaxy and for the Force with this wolf, because if it is Ahsoka, then okay, I don't understand how Ahsoka could be more powerful than someone like Yoda, because Yoda spent 900 years learning and teaching the Force. It seems like he would come across an ability to warg into a wolf after death or whenever. It seems like if it is Ahsoka, then that has huge implications for the Force and for the galaxy. If it's not, it still has big implications, because you got a talking wolf, and this wolf has to have some kind of Force abilities, because it knocked out Sabine with a breath. I mean, I doubt his breath is that bad. So I think it's a really good dual episode. I just think that there are some inconsistencies with it, and it could potentially get me off board of Rebels because of some of the stuff they've done with the Force, and in the Bendu being able to essentially teleport away. Some of the stuff they've done in Rebels and even in the Clone Wars, they haven't agreed with me, because some of the stuff that they do with the Force, it confuses, and that's something that in the movies we've never been confused by the Force. I mean, other than midi-chlorians, but hey, in the good movies, we've never been confused by the Force. We've never had something that's like, huh? Like, what? That's okay? We've never had that, and so it seems like that's what the animated shows have done for me in particular. It's like there are some confusing things, and that's not how it should be. That's pretty much going to do it for my review of last night's duel episode 6 or 5 and 6 of season 4, The Occupation and Flight of the Defender. I think I think it's a great thing, and I do very much enjoy that Thrawn is being the main villain. I really really enjoy that Thrawn is becoming the Rebels' main villain, and we know that people are going to die in this season, and I hope one of them is not Thrawn, because dude is so cool. You have an easy out with the Chiss Ascendancy to have him go away for the events of episode 4, 5, and 6. I'm glad that he's here, and I'm crossing my fingers and making wishes that he doesn't die in this season. But that's my thoughts on it. I want to know what you think about this 2 episodes and even this season so far. So tell me your thoughts either in the comment section down below, or on Facebook, or on Twitter. We're on all of those things. So you can tell me your thoughts. I read them all. I read them all, and if I have anything to add, I will definitely reply. So definitely do that, and don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button if you've enjoyed this review and want to see more like it in the future. Thank you for watching this one.